Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this very, very special conversation, ladies and gentlemen. You know, quite often I'd love to speak to authors, people who are taking a very alternative point of view or something which is nuanced, different, and something which is not oft spoken about. Oftentimes in our debates, there is always this question, what if there had been an alternative political narrative post-independence, when this Bhubhag, which we know as Bharatavarsha, became Hindustan and Pakistan? Had there been a separate leadership or a different line of thought leading this country? Some people say, had it been Netaji, had it been somebody else, had it not been Nehruvian, what would it have been? What could the future of our country have been? Had it not been Congress? Now, this is all oftentimes in our debates. But imagine somebody's written a book and said, what if there was no Congress? And that person is right next to me. Priyam Gandhi Mody is with us. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you for having me on your show.
And you go into hibernation, like you've self-professed after you write a book. Last we spoke with her. She'd written a book on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now we are right on the cusp of another round of elections. So have you timed it to the election, or is it just that your work has finished now?
So see, good question. But my first book released in 2019. We are in 2024. So my speed is about one book every 1.2 years.
Okay.
So that is the speed at which I write. So whenever it's ready, I have to release it. This is a pure coincidence that it's happening in the election season.
It's a pure coincidence. I'll take your word for that, because we've got to get into the context and into the content of it. What do you mean by what if there was no Congress? Why this title?
So these are not my words. These are the words of Prime Minister Modi. When he gave his speech in the Parliament last winter session, कि Congress न होती तो क्या होता? That was the essence of the speech. So then, you know, I thought back a little bit that Mahatma Gandhi also, in his last will and testament, said the Congress has achieved its purpose. It need not be a political outfit anymore. It needs to be converted to a social service organization. So technically, the head of the Congress, that was Panditji, was chosen by Mahatma Gandhi to lead an NGO, not the country, right? So when two greatest minds that India has ever seen, the two greatest leaders that India has ever seen, if the thought sort of converges on one single idea, then that idea must be explored. Which is why the book.
So which is why the book. So where do you start with? Because for me, a starting point, and not that I have dived into too much of a research, but the route or the shape Bharat would take, that it would be India and not Bharat. It would be looking at the West, not our own Sanskriti and Sabhyata. Does it start from there? Where do you trace, this entire aspect of what if there was no Congress?
Yeah, so I think that the inherent problem with Panditji and the Nehruvian thinking was that Indians, the way Indians think, the way Indians live, is simply not good enough. That we must take influences from everywhere we can and bring it into a country, make it like a hodgepodge. However, it was conveniently forgotten that our civilization was the most modern civilization. It was the most advanced civilization. Just because a bunch of people started to equate modern with Western, that didn't mean, that we lost, our merit. So I think the thought process of Bharat itself, that Bharat ko chhod do, India ko lao, I think that's where the problem started.
There are so many aspects, because nearly 7 decades of Congress-led or Congress-influenced rule, if you were to say. One of the aspects which is also in the ether now, so let's come to that, Ram Mandir. What was the Congress's position, role in, let's say, diffusing or perhaps infusing more fire into the entire Ram Janmabhoomi issue?
More than that, look at what they're doing now. What they did then, they're still doing it today. So, okay, so let's look at little bit of a contemporary situation. And this is one of the reasons why I've written the book. It's for the generations who don't remember what Congress-led India was, and for generations who don't know, right? they get swayed by these Instagram reels and YouTube shorts and narrative building that happens. So, mohabbat ki dukaan. We are inclusive, we are this alliance, we will take in everybody, love everybody. This is a narrative that has taken ground. Look at what they are doing to car sevaks. Is this mohabbat? They are arresting them. Right? These are people who have worked for the Ram
But that
Mandir.
they say is because it's a court order. So that's
It's a 30-year-old case. You know, there are murderers and thieves roaming freely. The police has better things to do, right? Now, the other thing, they are so cut off from ground reality, Anandji, that while the whole country, you know it, you travel and you see, it's like a celebration, it's like a second Diwali, right? It's a celebration. The whole country across age groups is waiting to bring, our God home and celebrate and light diyas, etc. What is Rahul Gandhi doing? And what is his PR team doing? Rahul Gandhi travels in economy. Rahul Gandhi makes jam at home. Come on. How disconnected are you?
No, but that's to each politician. To a large extent, you would say that it was a Congress rule or a Congress Prime Minister at the center at the time that the Babri structure came down. So it was P.V. Narasimha Rao at that time. So would you really want to fault the Gandhis there? Did the Gandhis or the Congress party at that time have a policy? Did they open the doors of the area of the Ram Janmabhoomi to diffuse Shabano?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And they were also, the RSS who they diss at so much, they were also in backdoor talks with the RSS because they did want to diffuse that tension. There is no doubt about that. Most importantly, Anji, it has taken 500 years for us as a country to bring our God home. We should be ashamed of ourselves. They should be ashamed of ourselves. And at the very least, participate in this celebration.
No, that's about today. But I'm just asking you, in this book, at any point do you reach a conclusion where there are a lot of things which the Congress would have done for the good of Bharat?
Yeah.
Have you looked at that? Or
Yeah, the IITs, DRDO. What is the other tagline that they have? Whatever they put on Twitter, all those things are there, that they have done that. They have given us a modern idea of India. Unfortunately, in my opinion, the negatives sort of supersede the positives. I feel that if there was an alternate leadership, we would have been in a different place. It wouldn't have taken us, 75 years to get in the top 5 economies of the world.
So Congress under a different leader, post-partition, would have been different? Or would you say a non-Congress driven polity or political leadership?
I think Netaji would have been great, so Sardar Patel would have been great as well, right? Maybe another political party would have, come into existence that could have shown us a different way. So it's just that this hijack by the family of the party, that's what didn't work for us.
You believe that that's hurt our country more than help it?
100%.
Well, for the rest, you've got to read the book. This is quite engaging reading, ladies and gentlemen, and it's going to spark a lot of debates, political and otherwise. But Priyam Gandhi Mody, great work done. Wish you all the very, very best with this book.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.